So I should put a trigger warning on this, because obviously there are people who might be in that space. So that's why. So that's my weight loss story. Hey guys, it's Sabrina. Thanks for coming back to my channel. If you're new here, then consider subscribing. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble with that word. Consider subscribing. We do keto cooking videos here as well as lifestyle videos with the new year. It's gonna be awesome. So consider subscribing down below, because yes, my hair is pretty. If you needed a reason, I have pretty hair. So let's subscribe. Anyway, so in this new year, I do want to start doing more chatty videos. As you see here, we're just chatting. That doesn't mean that there won't be more cooking videos. Cooking videos are on the way, I assure you. But with my announcement of doing 60 days of keto, I think that doing the 60 days of keto, it's really a restart for me, because I let myself go since like Thanksgiving, if I'm completely honest. I wasn't tracking my macros. I was kind of like intuitively eating, which I cannot do. And I was kind of pushing the boundaries further and further every day until I took like a week and a half off of keto and I just ate whatever I wanted. So that's really the purpose of my 60 days of keto, is to restart myself. And in this restart, I thought it was important to share my story with you guys as to how I got to this point where I am a year into keto and losing weight happily and doing long term, and for the most part doing okay. So technically, I've always had a problem with my weight since infancy into toddler years, adolescence, all of that. I've had a problem with my weight. At least that's what the doctors told me. I wasn't super obese, but I was definitely in the overweight into obese category for most of my adolescent life. It wasn't until I was probably 7 or 8 that I was put on my first diet. And as you can tell, 7 or 8 is, for me, in my mind, it was torture because I didn't understand why it was happening, that all the yummy food was now gone. So, of course, in my 78-year-old mind, what that meant is that I need to seize every opportunity to get yummy food and eat it. So that's what I did. I collected my little pennies, my few dollars, and I went to the store, bought candies, donuts, whatever my heart desired. I went and I bought it because I knew as soon as I got home, people would be watching me eat. Oh, you can't have that, you can't have this, you can only have this. And looking back, I don't have kids, so I can't really say with any authority, but having gone through the experience as the child, I wonder if that exacerbated the problem. You know, putting me on such a strict diet, I wonder if that made my weight problem worse, because all I did was go and seek food elsewhere. So I don't even know if I ever lost any sort of weight on that diet prescribed by the doctor, but my mom was determined that I would do it. And yeah, I still had a weight problem, so obviously it didn't work at the end of the day. But then you come to what I like to call the age of awareness. That age when all of a sudden you see how people see you, you become aware of other people's opinions and how they relate to you. And so I think that was probably 12 or 13 for me, and that's when I knew that I had a weight problem. And so yeah, that's a hard time to be. Anyway, you're in junior high school, all you want to do is fit in with everybody else. And so I did some real crazy stuff. I wouldn't eat during the school day. Yeah, I wouldn't eat breakfast and I wouldn't eat lunch at school, and then I would come home and in the 2 hours before anyone else came home, I would just eat, and then I would I'm not hungry for dinner, which obviously we all know by now, hopefully, does not help anything, because while we might intermittent fast on keto, what I was eating at that one meal was nothing, not good at all. I ate basically anything that was in the fridge and that could be heated up. So that might have been like rice and peas with ketchup. I might have had a protein. I might have had some plantains. I might have had something. I ate it all during like an hour or two after school. And then that was pretty much it for the day. Also, like I'll be completely honest with you. You're watching TV and they're talking, oh, this magic weight loss pill. Yeah, I definitely dabbled in those a bit because I just wanted it to stop being an issue. If you understand what I mean? Like, I just wanted to wake up and not be fat anymore. Because everybody else was enjoying their skinny lives. At least that's what people were telling me. Everyone's enjoying being thin and pretty, and you needed to be thin to be pretty, is the kind of idea that I grew up with. So that continued. By the time I reached high school, I obviously I was still overweight. I was probably in my I was in 200s by the time I reached high school. Low 200, like 210 maybe when I started. And you get a little bit more freedom in high school. So with the freedom came more food, unfortunately, because everyone was eating. There was a deli across the street from the school where you could get like fries with breaded chicken cutlets and then pour over some cheese sauce, and it was delicious. And oh, Chinese food, I was just eating everything, but still kind of doing that same sort of, and never really ate at home. You know, I would get to school, get a bagel in the morning, go into class, come out, go over there, get my fries or get Chinese food, and then I would get home, I'd be home alone, I'd eat some more food, and then by the time people came home, I was done for the day, so I wasn't eating anymore. So basically, people I lived with never really saw me eat. And that doesn't mean I was still hiding food. I was hiding food. Food was still being hidden in my house, and I was still finding it to eat. That is more accurate way of describing it. So yeah, that was high school. Still putting on weight gradually at that point. Then, you know, you get to college and you have even more freedom. Now, the way that I've been dealing with the emotional, psychological sort of aspect of my weight, because there is one, is that I never really, I mean, as far as like relationships or anything, I don't automatically think that somebody's interested in me. That's just not where my mind goes. If somebody approaches me, somebody being a guy who's attractive or no, I'm not automatically thinking they're approaching me because they're interested. I am thinking, obviously they want to say something, so I'm here, you know, and that's how I operated. I didn't think of myself as someone who could draw people's attention. And I also thought of myself as someone who did not draw people's attention. So I was very much like an invisible person. I was often the person who kind of snuck up on you, not because I was trying to, but people were just like, oh my gosh, you're here. I'm like, yes, I'm here. I've been here for 10 minutes. So that's why that's how I operated then. So being overweight was in my mind, but I ignored it for the most part. Like, I never really addressed it in my mind, if that makes any sense to you. I hope this is all making sense because it's kind of complicated. I should have written down notes before doing this, but I feel like this is a more authentic, genuine way. So obviously we go to college and you have even more freedom there, and there's now like a Burger King in my commons next to me. There's a Taco Bell across campus. There's a Starbucks and more food. And so I went in basically because nobody's watching you. This is the first time in my life where people were not watching me eat. Which, you know, or watching me what I was eating. Everyone was kind of doing the same thing. So it was like, great, we're going to have some food. Oh, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Oh, this place is open. Let's go walk over there and get the food. That's basically what college was like for me. So I put on more than the freshman 15. And I kept on going because my second year of college, I had knee surgery. So that basically, the knee surgery didn't go well. So that was like a whole year of not even attempting to work out. Because everyone, all the girls like, oh yeah, we're going to work out this semester, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, you go 3 or 4 times for the semester and you're like, oh, I can't go. Oh, I have exams, I have papers, whatever. But after the knee surgery, I definitely didn't even try. So I just kept on eating. So I leave college in 2009. And, you know, I get to work. I start working and doing that kind of stuff, and now I'm working odd hours, which means my eating schedule is off. But you know, at that time I was working in the entertainment business, and you know, you see a lot of people who want to be actresses and actors and whatever, dancers and stuff. You're just surrounded by those kind of people now. And again, it hits home. You're a little bit different than everybody else. So I started thinking about it, and that year is the first year I actually started to consume YouTube. So I know I came pretty late to YouTube as a consumer, so forgive me. I started to consume YouTube and looking at what people were doing, and at that time everybody was talking about HCG. So I researched everything, I read blog posts, everything I could about HCG, and I decided, okay, I'm gonna do it. But I told no one. Told absolutely no one that I was going to do it. Because, you know, I didn't want to try it. It didn't work. And then people were like, well, why are you still as fat as you were before? Because, you know, I'm West Indian, so people are like that. Where I come from. They just kind of, well, why are you still fat? I thought you were going to lose weight. Anyway, so I started this HCG. I got all the stuff. I read the original protocol. It's called for 500 calories a day, along with this sort of enhancer supplement thing, which is the actual HCG, which is supposed to curb your appetite and help you to shed the fat. So I got everything in the mail, super secretive. I got everything in the mail. I worked out the plan. I read all the books. I watched the videos, and I started. It was probably September of that year. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. But because I didn't tell anybody, it really kind of cut me off from people, because now I couldn't go out to eat because you couldn't have oil or sugar or carbs or anything. So of course you're reading the label on everything. You learn that there's carbs on shredded cheese, so you can't have that. You can't have butter on your meat. It can only have, like 100 grams of protein at a time. You can only have an apple a day. Like, it was crazy. So basically what happened is I kind of fell into my own little world of losing weight. And I did that like 2 or 3 times, 2 or 3 rounds of it. So after 2 or 3 rounds, I lost about 75, 80 pounds. And then I came out into the world again. People were seeing me, and they're like, oh my gosh, girl, you lost so much weight. And I was like, yes, I did. And then I decided, okay, I'm going to start working out, because obviously when you're eating 500 calories, the working out is just not going to happen. So I decided to start working out. And I was like, okay, working out, people who I didn't even like me and you, we not cool. So I was like, oh my gosh, Sabrina, you lost all this weight. And I was like, yeah, I did. Moving along. And, you know, I was just doing the damn thing, working out and trying to live healthily and do that thing. But, you know, working out all of a sudden put a strain on my body, because I wasn't eating regular anymore. I didn't have put all the food back in. I was still eating pretty low carb, not high fat, but low carb. And what happened is that my body was craving food. Like, crave it, like it needed something. And so, you know, I was like, okay. I would just look at like food and say, well, if I have that grape, I mean, I can have the grape. Why not have the grape? But, you know, if I eat the grapes, then I might be heavier tomorrow. You know, so it's better just not to eat it. So I consciously choosing to deprive my body of what it was telling me that it needed. And so one day I broke down and I had like Burger King. I went to Burger King. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to have me some Burger King. So I did. And then I, in my mind, felt so bad afterwards, because I got on the scale the next day. And obviously there was some movement on the scale and not in the direction that I wanted it to be. So I felt really, really bad. I was like, nope, we can't do this no more. Go forward and continue with the workouts. Continued going. And that need for more food kept on coming back. And I kept on depriving it for as long as I could. And then I would break down and I would have it. And then I would feel so bad afterwards. So bad. Like after the third or fourth time of this cycle going on, it dawned on me, this can't be healthy. Because the second time it wasn't just Burger King. It was Burger King and Cinnabon. Then the third time was like Burger King, Cinnabon. Then I got home and I had like half a pizza. Like it was just growing and growing and growing. And so after the fourth or fifth time, you know, it starts to dawn on you. This is not right. Because what happened is after that splurge day or meal, I would then continue, I would start to restrict more afterwards. It's like, well, like it got so bad that I would have liquor to fill my stomach, and I would consciously drink past my drink limit. Like, you know, when you've had too much, like I would drink past that, hoping that I would throw up and that all of the, like, that throw up would help knock off more pounds. That's how bad it got. And at that point, after I'd done that, especially after I'd done what I had planned to do, I drank too much, ended up throwing up, and then got on the scale the next morning and I was like, oh my gosh, I lost 4 pounds. After I stepped off the scale, I thought to myself, this is not right. There's something seriously wrong here. Seriously wrong here. Because that's just not healthy. So I should put a trigger warning on this. Because obviously there are people who might be in that space. But this is my story. This is what happened. But I will put a trigger warning, I guess, for it. So what I did to combat that mental space, you know, was that I decided I'm going to throw everything away. Everything that I had learned and everything, I threw it completely away. So I made a complete 180 within like a day. I stopped working out. I stopped weighing myself because I was weighing myself every day during this process. Every single morning I got on the scale and weighed myself and recorded it. So I stopped weighing myself. I stopped working out. And then I was like, you know what? What it'll be, it'll be. Whatever. You know, I was also partially hoping that after doing something like HCG that my metabolism would just sort of reset. So I was like, okay, it's fine. I'm just going to stop working out, stop weighing myself every day. My metabolism should be reset and I can go forth and be a normal person. Yeah, that didn't happen. That did not happen. I started eating. Not that I started eating huge quantities. It's just I took off all the restrictions on my eating and I ate and went about my life. And then, you start going like, ooh, that's a little bit tighter today. It is. Oh, well, you know, it's because I'm on my cycle and I poof when I'm on my cycle. So it's just water weight. And then you wear another pants. And then, you know, it just creeps on. And within probably 6 months, I had put back on 40 of the 70, 80 pounds that I had lost. So I was like, okay, get my mind right. We're going to do this again. And so I went back to HCG because at that point, that was the only thing that had proven to work for me. So I went back to HCG. I did the 40 days at 500 calories. I got to this new low weight and my body started to reject this whole process. It did. I woke up one morning and it was like I had elephantitis of the leg. That's how crazy it was. And I was in pain. And so I had to cut that cycle short. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't care. I'm just meant to be fat. Clearly, I am meant to be fat because it just seems unattainable for me. It's not reachable. I'm just meant to be fat. Whatever happens, happens. And so that's what happened. But after 2 years, after that last time, it was 2 years before I really tried anything again. And that was after my dad got sick and we thought, well, it could be, you know, dementia, could be Alzheimer's. And so I started doing more research again, and that's where I came across keto, the ketogenic diet. And that brings me to here. I mean, if I have photos, I'll put it in, but I will be completely honest with you. I doubt that there are many, because being that I knew that I was fat, I did not want the evidence out there. Like, I didn't want to be confronted with the fact that I was fat. I knew it already. I didn't need to see that. So I will try to find photos, but I don't really think, I mean, I'll try. And we'll see. I'll put them in if I've got them, so you can see where I was before. And, you know, yeah. So that's why. So that's my weight loss story. And I'm obviously still continuing with this journey, and I no longer have like really strict rules for myself. I don't super restrict my food intake, and also I've learned the lesson of being kind to myself. This journey is for the long haul, so I'm not racing off to some magical number. And also, you know, I'm taking the time listening to my body. If my body's telling me I need something, then, you know, let's figure it out. Let's get it what it needs so that we can continue. And, you know, refocusing myself. This 60 days of keto challenge is a restart for me. I'm going to do this challenge and focus myself. And, you know, if any of you guys are interested in joining the challenge, I'll be using this hashtag on Instagram, and I'll have my social media down below if you want to follow. So yeah, that's a little bit of my story. I really want to start sharing more of myself with you guys, so you know where I'm coming from, and we can build community that way by me sharing my story and me learning yours through the time. So that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. And, you know, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Thumbs up if you enjoyed this content. It was a little bit of a downer today, but I think it's important to share. So thumbs up if you appreciated it, and comments and questions down below, of course, are always welcome. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next week.